Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today it is the long-awaited Among Us tutorial. I made a new design for it and I think it turned out really cute. This is the one that I made in the resulting, this is what I made in the tutorial. Also, I want to apologize for not posting for almost a month now. I did say in my face reveal that I may not post for another month, well, a tutorial for another month due to exams and things, but that's all cooled down now and I had time to film the tutorial for it. So I just wanted to say I'm really sorry for not filming for about a month. Well, that is a tutorial. Alright, so now let's get on to the materials and I really hope you enjoy making this Among Us character. So, the band count, we're going to start off with the band count. So, the count is roughly, you just kind of have, as I always say throughout a lot of comments, just have a pack of bands on you. It won't use the whole pack of bands. So whatever color you want, it won't use 600 bands. It'll probably more than likely use from 450 to 550. It's really rough. I'm not quite sure, but it's rough. And then, so that's the main body color. And then for the goggles, I'd say roughly 50. And if you want your goggles really big, roughly 50 to 100. Very rough numbers, but you always want a band count. So this will not use a full pack of bands, but it will be close to a full pack of bands. So, materials. You'll of course need your white bands for the goggles, and if you would like to do the rim around the goggles, this goggles was a fail, but if you want to do the rim around it, you will of course need some black bands. You'll probably only need from 15 to 20 bands. That's how big you want your goggles. My goggles is only 16 stitches around, but yeah, so you'll need, again, 50 to 100 of the white, very rough. You definitely won't need 100, but that's just there. So yeah, black and white. And then, of course, your main body color. I used red in today's tutorial. This is red by Rainbow Loom. This is also white by Rainbow Loom. And this is just a off-brand black that I used, but black by Rainbow Loom will do as well. You will, of course, need your stuffing, quite a bit of stuffing. It doesn't take too much, but it takes a fair amount. And you'll need that for every part of it, the goggles, the body, and the backpack. So definitely will need fiber fill. Another thing that you can stuff with is paper bags. You can stuff with extra wool. That's always a good stuffing. Bands you don't use, which I wouldn't recommend, but if that's the last option that you have, that. Toilet paper. You can also use paper towel, tissues, cotton balls. There's lots of things you can stuff with. So if you don't have fiber fill, plenty of other options, but you'll need something to stuff with. You'll of course need your crochet hook. This is the one by Rainbow Loom. It works like a charm. You can also use, voice crack. You can also use just a regular crochet hook. I have the 3.5 millimeter, 4 or 4.5 will also work for Loomigurumi. And that is really everything that I used today. I also used a C-clip as a stitch marker. You can also just use a regular stitch marker. You can use a bobby pin. You can also use a safety pin as well. And last but not least, something to take apart slip knots if you mess up something, and also to kind of push stuffing back in. So if the stuffing was out, you can just kind of push back in. You can use a Q-tip or a skewer cut up, which is what I like to use as well, or you can also use the back of a crochet hook. You can use really anything to push some stuffing back in, because that does happen throughout the tutorial. And yeah, so that's pretty much everything that you'll be needing. Again, you'll probably need something to push stuffing in from other places as well, like pushing it up into the body or putting it into the goggles. So definitely have this. You will definitely need something to push stuffing with. You can also use a pencil, that also really works. And yeah, so that's really everything that you'll be needing. I really hope I didn't miss anything. But now you can get on to the tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed. Or, well, I hope you enjoy. And I will now let you get on to the tutorial. Alright, we're going to start off by making the backpack. Now, we're obviously going to start off with our main colour body bands, which is the colour you'll be using throughout the entire project, except for white for the goggles. Okay, so for the backpack, we're going to start off with a magic ring. So if you don't know how to do it, gosh, camera shaky. If you don't know how to do a magic ring, I have a beginner's guide on my channel, so go watch that if you're a beginner. But I won't be going as slow as I did in that. It gives you a full explanation on it in the stitches, what everything means, how to do them, how to do a magic ring, how to take things apart, everything you need to know about Loomigurumi. So go check that out if you're a beginner. But we're going to start off with a magic ring of 6 stitches. So wrap your band around your hook twice to create 3 loops on your hook. Grab another band and pull the 3 loops through onto the band. Reclaim onto your hook, just like so. Now you should have a cap band and 2 loops in your hook. Grab the cap band, pull in a twisting type motion so it doesn't get caught in the other band, pull the other band through that one, and then kind of turn your hook and then put your hook back through the cap band, which is what we started off with. So now you should have 1 loop and the cap band right there. Grab a second loop, pull through just the 3 loops and not that band. So hold this band with your finger, pull through just the 3 loops, and then replace back into your hook. You should have 3 loops in your hook. Pull the first loop through the second and third loop. Okay, so now you should have something that looks like this. This counts as 2 stitches. We need, gosh, I can't do math. We need 6 in total. So we've done 2, we need 4 more. Pull through again, reclaim, pull through the first and second and third, yeah. Just keep pulling through, going back into the cap band, or 3 loops that we began with. Okay, let's count the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the one in your hook counts as 1. So you can just even out the bands a bit and you should have a circle. It looks like this. Now, grab a C-clip and place onto the band that's on your hook. If you don't have a C-clip or a stitch mark or anything, you can also use a safety pin. Just be careful. Okay, go into the first stitch, which should look like a V shape on the side, and we're going to start our first row. Our first row is increase all. So we're going to be increasing in every single stitch. To do an increase, we do 2 single crochets in the same chain. So we pull through, 1, pull through, and then go back into the same chain. I feel like I'm talking annoying. I feel like I'm saying words annoying. That's still not English. Anyways, I'm just going to continue. So now we have done our first increase, and every single chain will have an increase. So go to the next chain. Again, if you don't know what I'm doing, I'd go into full depth in my beginners for Loomigurumi guide. But we're just increasing it all. So I'm not going to go super slow so this doesn't go, 3 hours. So just going through, increase in every single chain until you reach the C-clip. Again, it's 2 single crochets in the same chain. And then now we are almost at the C-clip. Once you get to the C-clip, put 2 more single crochets in where the C-clip is. That's 1. You can also take out the C-clip first as well if that helps. Okay, and then take the C-clip off, and reclaim to the band that's on your hook. Okay, so now we have something that looks like this. Now we are going to do, so we should have 12 stitches at the moment. So if we count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the last one your hook counts as the 12th band. Now we're going to move on to row 2, and it is single crochet increase. So the first chain is just a single crochet. The next is a increase. Next chain is a single, and the next is a increase. Single, increase. single, increase, single, increase, single, and you should end on an increase. And you should at the moment have 18 stitches. Reclaim your C-clip back onto the bend that's on your hook. And now we can move on to the next row. So you should have something that looks like this. Mine looks a little bit deformed. Whoops. Okay, so now we can move on to round 3. Or row 3. So now we're only doing the front stitch only. So we have 2 stitches. We've been going in through both of them, but now we're only going through the front stitch only. So every single stitch on this row will be the front stitch only. So we're going to go into the front stitch and we're going to do a single crochet. Follow along. So first is just a single. Be really gentle with these stitches, otherwise you could pull the loop too much and create holes in your project. Go to the next chain. We're also just going into the front stitch. As I said, all stitches are front loops only. And it is a increase. Back in the same chain. Increase. Okay, next is a single. We're going to do 4 single crochets now. So first single, crochet in the first chain. Next is another single, so this is single crochet 2, all in the front loop. Single crochet 3, and then single crochet 4. Stop at single crochet 4, and we're doing in the next chain is a increase, okay. The next chain we're going to do a single. The next chain is also a single. The next chain is an increase. What? I'm confused with my own pattern. Okay, and the next stitch is, now we got 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. I don't know what I was doing. Okay, and then the next stitch is a increase. Okay, and then the rest, single crochet rest. So each have 3 stitches left. Sorry if that was really confusing. I was confused with my own pattern. It doesn't really look like it's making a square shape, which I'm sad about. How did the other one make sense? It's okay. Oh yeah, it is, never mind. Okay, so you should have now just a lift off type thing. So it's kind of lifting off. Make sure to reclaim your C-clip onto the bend that's on your hook. Again, I'm sorry if that didn't make any sense. Right now, I'm going to go into the first stitch, and the next row is single crochet round, and it's 22 stitches in total. So, single crochet all the way around. I will do this off camera. I'll just do a couple stitches with you. So we're going through both loops this time. and we're just doing a single crochet in every single chain. No decreases, no increases. I'll finish this up off camera and I'll be right back with you. Alright, I have completed that round, so just complete the single crochet round till you meet the C-clip. And now we can move on to the next row. You should currently have 22 stitches, so check that now. And now we're going to be doing decrease all and then tie off and stuff. So we're decreasing everything. To do a decrease, we grab the first loop, the front loop of the first chain and the back loop of the second chain. There are many different ways you could decrease, so you can decrease however you'd like if you're an experienced loomer, but this is the decrease that I'm using. And we're doing that throughout every single chain. Front stitch and then the back stitch. 2 chains together, basically. This is just to close it off a bit so it's not as blocky on the back. And then it's optional to stuff, but I recommend stuffing it to give it a bit more shape. And you should have 10 stitches at the end of this round. It kind of looks like a circle. More like an oval. Okay, now you're back at the C-clip. You should have just kind of a smallish hole. You can check how many stitches you have. I will check now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It doesn't really matter how many stitches you have. I currently have 11. But that doesn't entirely matter. It's just a decrease off round. So if you have like 1 extra stitch, you'll be fine, don't worry. Okay, so that's really the backpack complete. And you're going to tie off the last band. So I'm just going to go through the next chain and pull a band through all and then tie off. Okay, and then you can take the C-clip off, of course, because it's now tied off. You can kind of shape up your backpack a bit just by pinching the corners. And you can also add stuffing. So I'll quickly grab my stuffing. Alright, so I have some stuffing. So you don't need too much for this, just enough to fill it up. I think that's plenty. To give it a bit more stretch. I don't recommend pulling the sides of it, but you get the idea. Okay, and that is the backpack. This one looks more triangular. Not triangular, sorry, rectangular. Okay, so that's the backpack complete. And now we can move on to the body and we'll do the goggles last. So just put this to the side, make sure it is definitely tied off. And as I said, we can now move on to the body. Alright, to create the body, which the body is also included in legs, we're going to start off with a magic ring of 6. Wrap your band around twice to create 3 loops on your hook, and as we did for the backpack, pull 6 bands through. Okay, 6 loops in the magic ring. Reclaim your C-clip onto the band that's in your hook. And now we can begin. I'm just going to move that out of the way so it's not focusing on that. Okay, so now we have a magic ring. Should look like this. Make sure you have 6 stitches. Go into the first loops. And we're going to start off with increasing in all stitches, as we did for the backpack. An increase is 2 single crochets in the same chain. Just make sure you have 2 in every chain, otherwise the bend count will be a bit off. Well, the stitch round count type thing, yeah. Also, I forgot to say, excuse the pen and stuff on my hands. I just finished my last exam and I was bored and I had 50 minutes to wait because I barely answered any of the questions because it was my language exam. And I'm not good at language and I'm not doing language next year anyways. So. Okay. So make sure you have 12 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Remove the C-clip and reclaim the bands on your hook. And now we can move on to row 2 of the body. Row 2 is single crochet increase. So that's the pattern, single crochet increase, single crochet increase. Single crochet and then an increase. Single crochet and an increase. Single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, and you should have 18 stitches by the end of this. Single crochet, and then the last one is a increase. Okay, so next is, next is a little bit different. So this is now moving on to trying to shape it into the shape that it Among Us doll is. So I'm going to go on to the first chain and we're going to single crochet 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, and then on the 8th stitch, on the 8th stitch we're doing a increase. Oops. And then we're again doing 7 stitches, and then on the 8th stitch, so 7 single crochets after that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then we're doing an 8th. 8th is also a single crochet, and then 9th is also a single crochet, and then we're doing an increase in the last chain. Kind of improvise with that because my pattern made no sense. Reclaim the C-clip onto the bend that's on your hook, and now your shape should be forming around here. And you should have, let's just count my stitches. I don't have a stitch count for this part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I have 19 stitches at the moment. And now we move on to the next round. Now the next round, so row 4 to 14. Okay, now we're doing 10 single crochet rounds. So I'm not even gonna do one round with you guys. I've already done a couple single crochet rounds with you. Well, I've done one single crochet round with you, but you know what single crochets are. And you're doing 10 rounds in total. So what you can do is you can just keep some bands to the side, maybe even a different color so you don't pick it up on accident, and just keep them to the side so then you can, kind of take it whenever you do a round. You can also do it with C-clips and stuff, but yeah. So it will turn out bigger, don't worry. It kind of widens as we go. And yeah, so you're just going to do 10 single crochet rounds and then come back to me. Alright, so we have now finished, well, I have now completed the 10 rows of single crochet. Hopefully you have now completed the 10 rows of single crochet on the Among Us doll, and it's a lot wider than the first one that I did, which was based off the other design. But yeah, so it's a lot different. Okay, but now I'm going to make the legs. This one is a little bit at an angle. That was just from stuffing issues. I didn't stuff it on one side. So make sure you stuff it evenly. And I think I'm going to keep the goggles on this because I like the look of those goggles. Okay, anyways. So we do the goggles after we stuff and fill and, you know, all the good stuff. Okay, so to finish off the legs, to make the legs, by the way, if you would like your Among Us doll to be a little bit longer in kind of the body shape, just of course do a couple more rows of single crochet, and if you want it a little bit less, do less single crochets. It's up to you how long you want your body, but I think this is the good length, 10 single crochet rounds. And make sure you haven't had less than what you thought you had. Yeah, yada. Alright, so you can take your hook out, and we're going to keep the C-clip on, just getting it back onto the band, and we're going to find the middle. So you can do it either way, doesn't really matter, but I'm going to do it the way with the C-clip this end, just so it's out of the way. So I'm going to do that right at the end, right here, and then I'm going to try and find the middle. So to find the middle of it, I'd look here right now, so this looks like the middle, but to make sure it is the middle, you count how many is on each side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the other side 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 sets each side, which means this is the middle. So I just put my hook through both of these sides. Make sure it does look even. Okay, it does. And now we're going to grab another band, pull through, and just do a regular crochet stitch, of course not pulling it tight, and take your C-clip, second one, and put it onto this one. Okay, so now we can begin doing the legs. So now count your single crochet rounds around here to make sure you have enough. So 1, you won't be going to this one because you just went to that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you should have 10 on each side, and if not, just kind of skip one of them, or if you don't have enough, then do an increase on one of the stitches. I hope that makes sense. Just kind of, yeah, so if you kind of mucked up the stitches in the rows, you can just either increase one. It doesn't really change the shape unless you do heaps of increases and heaps of decreases. But grab some bands. I haven't got some next to me. Oh, there's hair everywhere. Excuse that. I do have dogs and they like to get hair and everything. Okay, so grab some bands and go into the first chain going around this way on one of the sides. So just ignore the side for the time being. And do a regular single crochet, and we're doing it all the way around. Just single crochets. Again, if you don't have enough, increase one of them, and if you have enough, of course don't do anything, and if you don't have enough, so if you have too much, just skip one of the bands or do a decrease. So just do a single crochet around, and we're only doing single crochets for this and then decreasing at the end, of course, to close up the feet, but it is 4 rows of single crochet. That was memory. I've made so many of these Among Us dolls that I do have it drilled into my brain, the pattern, so. But yeah, we're doing 4 single crows? Seriously can't talk English right now. We're doing 4 single crochet rounds of the legs part. And right here, you don't want to go through that type of loop looking thing. That's a part of the first stitch, so just kind of skip that and go to where the C-clip is once you finish that round. If I can. Grab another band and of course pull it through. You can also pull out the C-clip first. Okay, so take out the C-clip if you haven't already. That's lovely, it's come out, okay. So, if you pull this band too tight where the C-clip is, when pulling out the C-clip, just kind of pull the back stitch of it to loosen it up, otherwise it'll make a hole. Okay, so now we can count our stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, before you go into the next stitch, grab your C-clip, of course, and attach. It's very important you attach your C-clip because these rounds actually, the C-clip gradually moves around. So you can lose track if you don't put the C-clip in. Alright, so we're just doing another single crochet round. I'll do another one with you, and then you guys will do 2 more. And I'll do 2 more off camera. So you'll pause the video, do 2 more. I'll go off, of course, and do 2 more after this one. So you should have 4 single crochet rounds for the feet in total. No increases at this point, just single crochets. Again, 4 single crochet rounds in total. You want to do that to both legs. I'll complete the first leg, and then I will tell you how to do the next leg, of course, because they're different. Well, the C-clip is in different places, that's about it, but I think one side has more stitches than the other. I might be wrong. I don't know. That may have been the wrong stitch. Was that the wrong stitch? No. Okay. So again, make sure you have the right amount of stitches because you don't want to do an increase, otherwise it'll kind of mush up the shape a bit. Because if you do an increase at the top here, it'll be a little bit wider at the top. But if you do an increase at the bottom, it'll only increase like the hips. So, not that they have hips, but we're going to stick with that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you just want to keep making sure you have 10 because it's very easy to stuff up your stitches. And you don't want one side to be smaller than the other because, of course, the legs will look off. So I'm going to complete the next 2 rounds off camera, and then I will show you how to complete this leg. We will stuff, and then we can continue from there. So 2 more rounds of single crochet just in this leg, and then come back to me. Alright, so now I have done my extra 2 rounds of single crochet. It should look something like this now. You can now take your hook out. You shouldn't have the single crochet in this leg quite yet. Okay, so now we're going to stuff it. Grab your stuffing that you had prepared, and we're going to stuff in the hole, this hole right here, to fill the body. So just put your stuffing in. You can do little by little or just stuff it all in there and then kind of shape the body. This is definitely a need because otherwise you can't really shape up the body very well. And put the stuffing like in the hips or something, wherever you want it to look more stuffed, I guess. So just kind of push it aside and make sure it's not coming out of stitches. Mine is, but that's just because it's this red that I'm using. Excuse my creaky chair. But just keep stuffing until you like it, and then you can also stuff the leg that you've done so far so that you can close up the leg, and then I will show you how to close up the leg, and then you just have to do the other leg, but I will not show you that on camera because I've already shown you how to do one leg, so you can rewind if you need to do the leg again, or how to do the leg. But just stuff the leg to your liking, make sure not to put too much there, but if it does have a little hole there, figure out where the stitch is coming from. So it is, for me, kind of a lot of them. This one here, right there, and then this one, I think, no, I was wrong. So you can just kind of pull out the stitches a little bit, if need be. It kind of closes up the hole a bit, but that is gonna happen with skipping a stitch. Oh, we didn't really skip a stitch, it was just kind of a hole that's always there, but you don't really see it with the other leg. Okay, now I'm gonna show you how to finish off the leg. So just kind of push, that did not help. Push the stuffing down a bit and you can push it up in a minute. But grab your stitch, so we're continuing on with this leg, we're just gonna tie it off. So now we're going to just do decreases all the way around. I'm pretty sure this is what I did. It might have been single crochet decrease. I think it's actually single crochet decrease. Sorry about that. My mistake. We're doing a single crochet decrease now. Sorry. Single crochet, and then the next one is a decrease. To do a decrease, we grab the front stitch of the first chain and the back stitch of the second chain. That is the type of decrease we're doing for this project. Single crochet. It may have been all decreases, I have no idea. I haven't got the pattern next to me, I'm just kind of going off of memory. Which isn't always the best idea, but it looks pretty decent so far. The first part I had the pattern because that was the harder part. But now, I'm just kind of going off, as I said, memory. But it, again, seems to work out well. I don't know why I'm repeating myself so much. Okay, and the last one should just be a single. Yeah, it was definitely single crochet decrease. And then the last row is just decrease in all stitches. If you need to decrease, well, you need to decrease, but if you need to add a bit more stuffing, go ahead now before you decrease completely. I just had a voice crack. You love that. And just decrease all until you can't see any holes or until you're happy with it. Oops, if that happens, just do it again. You can do any decrease technique that you like, but I just prefer this one. So once you have done your last decrease, go into your last decrease, grab your band, pull through all, and then single crochet, not single crochet, well yeah, but it's a slip knot, tie it really tight, then go into the leg. It may look a little bit pointy at the moment, but we are going to fix that. Grab it into the body. Sorry if I just banged the camera with my head, sorry. And then you just kind of push it at the bottom and it should form. And now you want to do that on the other side. And by the way, if you want your legs a little bit smaller, you can, of course, shorter, you can do less single crochet rounds. I just, again, think this is the cutest way for the legs. Okay. So I'm going to quickly add a little bit more stuffing try to at least in the leg because it's a little bit stubby at the top. And you can do that just by kind of going in from the other side to the leg. Again, ignore the hole that will be hidden with the other leg. Happened on this as well. It's kind of hard to avoid, but it does get hidden. So do not worry. And to make it have a little bit of a stomach, you want to, of course, add more stuffing. So I don't really mind if mine is got it coming through stitches, not through coming out of stitches, but if you can see it, but it's gonna happen with this color of bands. It's kind of hard to avoid, but the stuffing is a really big thing because you really want to shape the body with the stuffing because they kind of have a belly, and then also stuffing makes the legs kind of go out slightly like that so that you have a gap which is more realistic to the Among Us character. Okay. So now I'm going to do, of course, the same thing I did for the other side. I'm not going to do it on camera because that's going to take too much time. But yeah, so now I will repeat exactly what I just did to this leg. If you forgot what to do, just, of course, rewind the video and watch how I did it and do that again to the side and come back to me. Alright, so I've just completed both the legs. There's a hair on the camera. Okay. So here's the body. It is now complete. This is just kind of the main body of it that puts it all together. You should now have your backpack and body. But before we put the backpack on, which is really easy to attach, I'm going to do the goggles. So of course to do the goggles, you'll need your black bands. It's just a mixed pack of black that I could find. So just put a couple of them out onto your table, of course. My stomach is growling, so excuse that. But yeah, just put a couple. You won't be needing too many, and of course you need your white bands as well. So we're going to start off with our black bands, and you want to kind of choose the top area of it. So I'm going to go about here. This is decently in the middle. Grab a band, pull through. Try not to get the stuffing. It's hard, I know, but give it a shot. Try not to get the stuffing. You can also just do it white. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm not going to use black in mine today, but if you want to use black, You just want to do the first round that I'm doing in white in black, okay? And then you can do the rest with white if you want to have the black outline. But I'm going to do mine with just white. So I have my white bands here. I forgot that I wanted to do it in just white and just was doing it based on what my reference had. Okay, so as I just said, I'm going to do the same thing I just did. Grab a rough middle and pull your band through. Go kind of like on an angle, pull another band through. There's not a band count to this. You can make these goggles as large as you'd like or as small as you'd like. You're going to the side. So just kind of a rough area that you want it to be, really. These ones I made a little bit too small and I want to make them slightly bigger, so that's what I'm going to do. It's completely up to you, this part. Just keep going around. And we're doing just single crochets, not slip stitches, as a lot of people do for this type of attachments, but I prefer to do single crochet look because they just kind of make it look a bit better, in my opinion, that is. I don't know what I'm rambling about, but just continue until you're happy with the shape. It could take a couple times to do it. But in the end, hopefully you get what you want you get the desired shape that you would like. Okay, so I kind of zoomed in so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. It's kind of going off to a slant, so that is not good. We don't like that. But I'm just going to continue. Make sure not to skip stitches, otherwise you'll have holes in your goggles. And make sure that the sides are even, so you're not kind of going really far one side and not very much so on the other side, like I am doing right now. Yeah, that's decent. Decent is enough. Sorry if I keep going off camera. I don't like being zoomed in, but it's easier for you to follow along. And I probably zoom in the footage when doing it, when editing. So that's why it takes so long to edit and why it takes so long for a video to be uploaded. But tutorials don't take me that long because I don't have to edit individual clips. I just kind of roll with it. Okay, so to give you a stitch count, because there will be people who want a stitch count for this, so mine at the moment is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, so I'm going to go into the first stitch and I'm just going to do a single crochet around. Now, I have kind of that to mark my stitches, but if you would like to put a C-clip in, definitely recommend it. But I'm just going to go through and do single crochet in each of these stitches. I'm just going to stick with this shape. I hope it turns out good. You don't really know until you build up. And I've had a comment on doing things not attaching things, because honestly I'm not even that good at attaching things. So I've decided to build a lot of my things off the bodies or off the faces, or just kind of building it off of that thing rather than attaching it later, because attaching can take so many tries to get your desired shape. So I just decided to make more things that are easier for people who struggle with attaching. And I hope this is easier, because I did have an attachment way, but it did look good, but at the same time it's hard to attach and get it right. And this way is a lot easier, so I decided to do it this way. And I think it'll look nice with just white. Keep kind of folding it in to make sure it's the shape that you like before, you take it apart and want to restart. I think I really like this shape, so it's forming quite well for me. If you don't like the shape at this point, I'd recommend either taking it apart and restarting, or just continuing on. It's up to you, really. So I have my slip stitch right here to kind of mark off my row. Hair everywhere. God damn it, dogs. Okay, and one more stitch, and then we're going to start decreasing. Okay, so it kind of looks a little bit weird right now, but this is just to kind of lift it off the face a little bit, and the rest is going to be decreasing. So this time I'm definitely going to put a C-clip on just to make sure I'm not getting messed up with my stitches, and we're going to go into the first chain, and it's going to be a single crochet, and then the next chain will be a decrease. So we're going to do that all the way around. Depending on how big your goggles are, it depends what kind of decrease method you would do. I won't go into detail because it probably won't make sense to anyone, so. I've seen a lot of the plushies have just white goggles, which is kind of what inspired me to do just a white goggle rather than a black line, because it kind of looks a little bit broad compared to other ones. Because it doesn't have a black outline around it, of course, because that's almost impossible to do. But it, I decided to do it white because nothing else has a black ring around it, so it just kind of looks out of place, if that makes sense. And I prefer the look of it just white, I think. Okay, and now we're going to be tying it off completely. So go into the last stitch, of course, and just do a single crochet. I may have my stitches a little bit messed up at the top, but that's okay. Probably should put my C-clip on at the start, but that's, again, that's fine. It's just the goggles. Then we attach the backpack, and then we are done. So I think this is the last row of decreasing. We're just doing decreases until closed up. So technically you don't need your C-clip anymore, you just kind of decrease until it's completely closed up, because you don't want this to be bulging out of the head too much. And I think they're a little bit too low down the head, but that could also be good for adding accessories and things, which I do want to come out with some accessories if that's something that you want me to do, if you have gotten to this point of the video. A lot of people mentioned in the comments, I gave up at this point, didn't understand this point. Yeah, but before we continue on decreasing, I completely forgot to add filling. So I just have this big tin bucket, I don't know what to call it. But I'm just gonna, with the tiny hole that we have left, I'm gonna take off the C-clip because that's just in my way and we don't need it anymore. Thank you. And before we completely decrease, I'm just gonna stuff it. Try not to stretch the stitches too much. You don't want too much stuffing in here, it's just kind of to form the shape a bit. It's optional, of course, you don't have to put stuffing in here if you don't want to. And the stitch isn't coming undone. You love that. Or not. Oh, so sorry, I forgot I was zoomed in. You can also just use something to poke it in there, like this hook that comes in packets of Loom bands. Yeah, so it just kind of gives it that shape that you want. So sorry about that jump cut. My mum came in and I was just starting to close it off again. But basically we're just closing up the rest. So decreasing completely until you get to the point where you can just pull through all. Tighten nice and tight, excuse the background noises. And you can kind of shape it up a bit if you want. It is quite large, but this won't be pointy when you pull it, the slip knot in. So just kind of pull it back completely so it doesn't create a point like this one. These goggles are definitely bigger. I definitely like the look of these goggles a bit better. I just kind of wish the legs are a little bit thicker, but that's because I didn't put enough stuffing in them. And you can also kind of increase on the stuffing. But this one looks really skinny. Alright, so now we're going to attach the backpack. So to attach the backpack, we are just going to basically do slip knots on each corner. So what we're going to do is just kind of move the bands out of the way, and then grab 4 single red bands. Excuse the stuff in the background. Take them singularly out of the bag. Okay. So, I'm going to take, in here, you have the corners. What we're going to do is we're going to grab underneath here. Should be a corner type thing. Doesn't have to be, you know, completely corner, but then grab the same stitch that's underneath it, pull a band through both stitches, and then just slip knot it. I'm going to do that in each corner. And it's legit every single time even. Probably going to jinx myself, but it's pretty hard to not get this straight. You just got to kind of make sure you're not doing it like that. Okay. Under here. And then the last corner, it's a little bit off to the side, but okay. Okay. So my goggles are quite large, but I'm not going to change it now because I've spent ages on this tutorial. But I'm now going to pull this into the body. Of course, don't make the goggles as large as mine. It's probably goggles like this are more than likely better for a larger doll, but it can still work. Just pull all of these, sorry I didn't even say what I was saying. Pull all of these into the body, hide all of the slip knots into the body. And I did definitely add too much stuffing, but that is a-okay. I don't really mind, honestly. But I don't like the look of overfilled projects. So honestly, I don't entirely like how this one came out. But it is the pattern. But quickly, I will definitely say some things that you could do at the start. I would have already said things at the start. I haven't made the intro yet at this point in time, but you would have already seen the intro like a couple hours ago. But yeah, so I'm just going to quickly, as I always say in all my videos, I'm going to quickly clean up and I'll be right back with you. Alright, thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you did like it, make sure to hit the like button and comment if you would like to comment. Yeah, so this was the long-awaited Among Us design, and I really hope you liked it. I really like this design, and I'm very proud of it. And again, I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.